Okay, so welcome everyone. This is our August gathering where we're going to be coming together around purpose and power. And first, we'll just do a landing together. We'll arrive. So let's start that. We've already done that a little bit by just taking in who's here, kind of orienting to, oh, right, here we are, some familiar faces for some of you and some unknown faces also. But also maybe an opening the pores in your heart to feel like that even if you haven't met, that you are doing some work in common. And maybe there's a sense, I know there is in my heart, of that support and that camaraderie of moving in moving in community, even if we don't know each other. So notice whatever shows up in your system as you see each other on the screen. And just include that. Maybe there's little ripples, or maybe there's tension, or your energy comes up, and we don't need that to be any different. We're here to receive ourselves exactly as we are. So, yeah, once you've kind of taken each other in and can feel your internal response, then you can slowly close your eyes or have a soft gaze, and we'll do some landing, some anchoring of our attention and our awareness in our experience, in our location in this moment. So, first, just noticing the rhythmic movement of your breath. Maybe like we're riding soft, gentle waves of breath together. We're not managing the waves or changing them in any way, just enjoying this beautiful movement of life that's happening. Mhm. And maybe noticing something that feels pleasant in this movement and letting yourself savor the, yeah. Whether that's simply like, I can just be here and let my breath move me. Or perhaps it's a sensation of how you feel the contact with the chair behind you or the surface behind you changes as your breath rises and falls. Include the sensation of the pressure of contact, of support under you, maybe wiggling your toes, letting your awareness kind of settle down through the body, down to contact with the earth, the floor, back of your legs, if you're sitting, if you're lying, whatever, wherever you feel the sensations of contact. And letting awareness, so intentionally we'll just invite awareness, our attention to settle into the sensation of support. And just enjoying and noticing the internal space that's available to settle into, and not trying to make it different, not bulldozing some place that doesn't feel spacious. Just enjoy, even if it's a few molecules, the space where you can be inside. And savoring or enjoying the settling in these places. Like, oh, right here, I can just be here, right here. Maybe imagining that there's support behind your head and neck, and that your awareness can settle back in that dimension of your body. Noticing if there's effort, noticing if there's like, I want more space, or I'm not feeling settled. And let's notice the possibility of just inviting our internal sensory experience exactly as it is. We can imagine our awareness is like an ocean wherever we have access to this, and that the places we don't have access to are like fish in the ocean. They may be large fish, they may be little minnows, but it's not a problem that the fluid, soft contact of our awareness can meet the shape and size of whatever else is here and communicate soft welcome, like you belong right here. Welcome. This is Alan Gordon's imagery. So beautiful and perfect. And also noticing what that contact, the interface with what you're meeting. So we move from the idea, the imagery, actually down into the sensory experience, because this is the language of our body and our deep brain, not ideas, but sensation, felt experience, and emotion. So you might notice as you kind of come down here, as one of my teachers, Zenju, says, come down here. As we come down here, just notice if there is like a warmth or a care that is available as like the flavor of our ocean, of our meeting, of our awareness. Yeah, as we touch and welcome the contours of whatever else is here right now, not needing it to be different. Yeah, that's it. Resting in the ease of presence with. Mhm. Yeah, so let's just savor this for a few minutes together. Just the gentle resting, the including whatever shows up, maybe thoughts, maybe sensations, but we don't leave the fluid resting of our awareness wherever that's available. And also noticing, kind of peripherally, but noticing that we're doing this together. Like our ocean is expansive. We're not alone here. We're practicing this presence, this being with together. And maybe just notice if there's anything that shows up in your field of awareness as you include this. The support of others, the field, collective field. And if something arises, whatever that is, letting that fish feel your welcome, being with, allowing it to move the way water allows movement. Welcoming, not needing to understand. Yeah. And let's notice how we are in relationship to what we're meeting. So feel if you can feel the breadth and the depth of your ocean. So this is about our power to achieve this purpose of presence. So if we get right up next to something that's moving in our system, we may have lost what we're communicating to what we're meeting, which is I am here. In that here, we're kind of broadcasting and transmitting our presence. So let our attention, our awareness shift out now into really occupying the space, the quality, the essence that we're orienting to. Like, this is who I am, the one that welcomes, the one that is present. Like our more essential self. And just notice what's different as we do this and as we do it together. And now as we're going to begin to transition. Before we leave presence, just allow something from what you read in the blog post to surface. Don't go looking for it, just see what arises, what kind of floats into your awareness. Something that resonated with your practice, or something that felt new or unclear. Notice your awareness right now. See if you are still resting in presence and spaciousness, fluidity, whatever the qualities are. And then when you're ready, just slowly at your own pace, noticing how it is to maybe wiggle your feet and your fingers, and intentionally and at your own pace, just transition to taking in the room, maybe just some colors and light to begin with, and noticing how it is to continue to rest in yourself, in awareness or in presence. And if you have something to write with, you can bring that out. And if you don't, you can take a few minutes, we'll go slowly, to go and pick up your journal or something to write with. I'm going to also post in the chat for anyone that didn't have a chance to read the blog post for this month. This will be more meaningful for you if you have, so you can click on that instead of doing some reflection. If you haven't had a chance to read this month's post, you can, staying with your internal pace, just have a glance at that instead of journaling if you haven't had a chance to read that. And if you have, go ahead and let's spend a few minutes reflecting on what you're bringing, what from what you read is turning in you. Are you wanting to hear others share about, or wanting to ask something about, or have an insight about your own inner work or practice? If that's not clear, feel free to send me a note in the chat. And I'm going to put a timer on the screen for 5 minutes. And if you've written and you don't need the more time, I'm going to leave this on the recording too. Invite those of you that are listening to this recording afterwards to also do this asynchronously with us. But just reflect and write. And as you write, see, can I stay really resting with myself and my inner experience, not leave down here and come just up to my head to write, but can I include all of me or more of me in my reflecting? And if you finish your writing and there's still time left, feel free to sit and be with whatever's moving, because then we'll move into conversation and questions. And noticing whether you're writing or reflecting the sensations, your felt experience, and including reflecting or writing from your fuller experience. May feel awkward or different, like, well, then I don't have words, or just try that out for this last little bit of time. I'm going to pause the recording and just kind of take, that sound was the timer. Just take. So, yeah, this beautiful question about how do we come back if we are, if, so I think for me, a first piece is to anchor ourselves in the morning. And for those of you that are doing or have done the Gupta program, that is a really foundational piece, is that when we wake up in the morning, our nervous system, we are orienting to like, what's going on? What is this all about? What am I doing? Where's home base? What's my baseline? So having a morning practice, a morning routine that really anchors us in our intention, in our purpose, however we come at that. Um, Meditation, some gentle movement, being in natural light if that's available, or a blue light, time in nature, so that we are kind of anchoring in. It's like when you have bees and you put in the template for them in the frame in the hive, so they build their honeycomb out on that. We're just like that. So if we wake up and the first thing we do is read the news, and now I'm in sympathetic activation or just overwhelm and collapse, our nervous system is taking that, kind of like, okay, things are bad. We need to be in survival mode, suppress, suppress digestion, suppress immune function. We're on survival. So I think that's the first thing, is what we do first thing in the morning. And that also can go for the what we do as our wind down evening routine. Um, Dr. Chatterjee, who's a British physician, he's really big on like having evening digestion time conversation, if that's possible, to have a conversation with someone on the phone or in person to digest the day, or to do some journaling or reflecting on the day, so that when we go into our sleep time, that we've pre-digested a little bit the day, and that our sleep can be more restorative, and that we wake up then in with more resource in our system. So those are some initial thoughts, is really caretaking if this is our intention. And of course, then this brings up maybe challenging decisions about, well, what about this thing that what about this? So that's material to work with. And then I would say also, for those of you that are in the Gupta program, you've heard about the mindfulness bell, that you can have on your phone. And if that doesn't work for you, to have, your phone going off, which I totally understand is nice to not have that, then choose an anchor in the day. That's when so your morning and evening may be orienting to your purpose and to some practice, meditation or mindful movement. But during the day, to choose something like when you wash your hands, or when you flush the toilet, or when you open a door, that you notice, where am I now? The beautiful image that you gave from Pema Chodron. Am I the sky or the weather? And if I'm the weather right now, it's not bad. It's just, oh, let me see how I can access sky a little bit more. Let me see where my breath is. Let me see where my resting place is. I'm going to pause the recording. So, someone else has brought in this like way of coming back, of making contact. And that can be very particular to whatever's right for you. Some people like to kind of give themselves a hug, bringing a hand to your heart with this. And if we do one-on-one work together lately, you've probably heard me offer too that with the hand there, that through your hand is a transmission of care, like sunlight just beaming. There's no effort, but the communication of I'm here. I'm here. I feel you. I'm right here. So, yeah, beautiful. Let's hear from others. Questions. Um, yeah, so someone else just brought this, like, when we notice ourselves suffering, when we notice that we've lost presence, that we're like, this is difficult where I am now, that the experience that trying is not going to get me back there. That effort is a fish in the ocean or the weather, in that imagery of Pema Chodron's of the sky and the weather. And that for her, that for the person that named this, that just letting go, noticing like, no, I don't need to try and figure out what is it that's going to get me back there. I can just let go. And that letting go um, can be sometimes supported by imagining or looking at the image of someone that embodies presence. But just the act of letting go is a return, right? Is that we're not going to effort our way back. So thank you for that. That's lovely. That was just brought up about justice, the end of the quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. about justice. Um, and to feel as we turn toward this about um, correcting everything that stands in the way of love. I'm not remembering his exact lines, but to feel what happens when we turn toward this and feel our seat and feel the support of this moment. Because there may be some, and this is part of what we're actually, wanting to become more intimate with, there may be some felt response. Our deep brain and our body may have some communication to send us. So we're going to notice, first of all, that our identification or orientation is going to be with love, with a field of resource, with where we can sense rest. That may be the space around us if we're feeling tension or a response in our body. So this is power. If my ability to achieve purpose, and if my purpose is presence, to be with what is, then shifting, again, Dan Siegel would call this our locus of identity, like where my seat of awareness is, to the field of love or ease, presence, let go. As was named earlier. I'm really appreciating that, just to let go. And from the letting go, from the spaciousness, from the sky, I'm bringing in our metaphors from today, to be with, to make contact with the felt response of the body. Again, like an ocean holds a fish, that we don't leave the ocean of presence, and we can caress, make contact with the contours of the dimensionality in our body that needs resource, that wants to be known, that responds to thoughts, memories, the stimulus of justice when we talk about justice. And then emotion might arise. So this is actually these are the fish of our below conscious communication. And so we welcome if there's some emotional quality, we also include that as we rest in presence. Mhm. And receive whatever the communication is. And not to figure it out, but to let it move, right? Because emotion needs to move. It's the absence of this getting to move in us that results in the movement outside, sometimes the reactive response outside. So beautiful ending for us as we come to our time, the end of our time today. There's so much here to sit with. I this month's post really worked me. I was like, really? More? It was a lot more than I was hoping for. So I think I'll be going back to it and digesting and yeah, I hope that you have time to do that and find support in doing that. I'm gonna end the recording here.